Hello and welcome to the Laughter Salad. Today I am going to be doing some meal prep for the next couple of weeks. We got these 4 recipes that I'm going to do. It's 2 muffin recipes, 1 brownie recipe, and 1 chicken thigh recipe. My mom is starting chemo for the 3rd time, and it is really helpful to have these meal prep things around the house because obviously, eating well is so important for her, though I also eat all of these things that I'm making as well, so it's not just for her really. But yeah, I could not for the life of me find my muffin tins. So I am making the muffins in these empada tins. So it's not like the exact right shape as a muffin tin, but it's close enough. So I'm starting with buttering and flouring all of the things that are going to go in the oven. And it honestly didn't take as long as I thought it would take. So now I'm gonna mix the muffin batter since those will take the longest to cook. I do want to do the banana and apple batter basically at the same time, so fingers crossed that I don't get my bowls mixed up on what is what. So first I grate the apple, and the recipe also called for carrot, but I didn't have carrot, so I'm subbing sweet potato, which I also grated before adding the sugar. The apple recipe called for buttermilk, and the banana recipe called for 3 bananas, but I only had 2 bananas, so I'm using yogurt for both of those substitutions, and I feel fine about that. It's even high protein yogurt, so even better. Then I add vegetable oil to the apple muffins and eggs to both and cream everything together. I don't really eat bananas, so I was shocked by how many yucky brown spots this banana had, but I just removed them, mashed the banana, mixed it all together, and then added the vegetable oil to the banana mixture. Then I go in with the flour. This recipe calls for regular flour, but I am using more oat flour for the fiber. I used half a cup of regular flour in each one, and then the rest with oat flour. I add in all the little stuff like baking powder, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, etc., etc. I wait until the last possible minute to mix each of the batters because at this point the baking powder is in, and I hear that's important for muffins and the baking powder. Like, you don't want it to overmix it and you don't want to rest it for too long, I think. I don't know. I'm not a baker, you guys. Then I start adding the batter into the muffin tins, or empada tins, I guess I should say. And for the last few of them, also add in this sugar and walnut mixture into the center of the muffin, so it has like a crunchy walnut center. This was part of the banana muffin recipe, but not part of the apple muffin recipe, and I just decided to add it in because I like walnuts, but I honestly regretted it. I don't think it added that much to the flavor profile, and it just made the whole thing confusing. Okay, now on to the chickpea brownies. I was planning on making a double recipe, but I am so silly, so I didn't even check that I had enough ingredients before deciding to do a double recipe. So I didn't have enough cocoa powder, and I also didn't have enough chickpeas. So for the chickpeas, I'm doing half chickpeas, half lentils. I feel like they're both legumes, they're both beans. I think it's fine, and honestly, it turned out fine. It turned out great. You can't even taste them at all. Like I said, I did not have enough cocoa powder for 2 recipes, but I had just barely enough for 1 recipe, so I thought that'll work just fine. Then I added in all the other ingredients into the blender and blended it all up. I also made this recipe without modifications as a short, so if you want to check out this recipe with all chickpeas instead of chickpea lentils, check out my shorts. And I was supposed to add milk chocolate or semi-sweet chocolate to this, but there's another thing that I forgot to check if I had. So I'm using white chocolate for those sort of double chocolate cookie effects, and honestly, it turned out great. My only note for myself is that I really should have added double as much chocolate as I did, because I feel like you really had to hunt around for the white chocolate pieces, which is not an experience I particularly enjoy. First round of apple muffins are out, and I quickly poked them with a chopstick just to make sure they were coming out clean. Okay, and as you remember, I buttered and floured the brownie container back when I still thought I was gonna make 2 recipes, but then I didn't have enough batter for 2 recipes, but I wasn't about to butter and flour a whole nother container. So here I am MacGyvering a sort of situation where I put this pink bread loaf pan inside the bigger brownie pan and fill it with beans and make it approximately the size of 1 recipe of the brownie batter. And it worked great, honestly. I'm a genius and I can solve every problem in the world. I'm so happy about that. So yeah, now that the baking stuff was mostly underway, this is what the apple muffins are looking like. They didn't get a good rise, partially because I'm not using a real muffin tin, but honestly, the taste was still good, so I don't care. The brownie is waiting for its turn in the oven because I want to get all the muffins done first, and in the meantime, I'm starting to get to work on the chicken. This chicken recipe is from So Easy, So Good, which is a book by Kylie. I think her last name is Sakaida. She's also a YouTuber, and I'm pretty sure she's also posted this recipe on her channel, so it's not like I'm revealing secrets that only those who've bought the book can know. I've made this recipe before. It freezes really well, which is why I'm using it. If I had one criticism, and I recognize that this is not a popular criticism and that I'm against most people on this, because most people really like a really saucy dish, right? I feel like especially US Americans and Asian people love a really saucy dish. But me myself, I don't really like it when a dish is too saucy. So I feel like this dish yields too much sauce. But honestly, it's not really a problem. I just end up freezing all the extra sauce and then I can use it in a variety of things. Sometimes I'll use it to season other meat. I'll use it as a dumpling dipping sauce. And if you mix it with some ketchup, it can really turn into a pretty good, not at all authentic tonkatsu sauce. So, it doesn't go to waste, is what I'm trying to say. But I do think it's an excessive amount of sauce for the amount of chicken that you're making. But that's just me. I'm a hater. Most people like a lot of sauce. So it's not, I wouldn't call it a defect with the recipe. So at this point, my mom got home and she, wonder of all wonders, she knew where the muffin tins were. So I was able to make most of the banana muffins on the muffin tins instead of having to use the empada tins, and they turned out much better for that. So here I am just buttering and flouring these as well. Then adding in the muffin mixture and the nut mixture in the center. But this chicken recipe truly is so easy and so good. You just mix the ingredients, you boil it, I freeze it, and then when I'm ready to eat, I broil them, and it turns out amazing. I did decide to have one of the chickens that day for dinner. So here's what it looks like after it's been broiled, and the rest of it I'm gonna freeze. For the sauce, I personally think that depending on how fatty your chicken thighs are, the sauce can get too fatty from boiling with the chicken thighs. So I like to put it in the fridge until the fat solidifies and then I discard that or I use it for something else. But either way, I remove it from the sauce. But it's not like really, really necessary. I just prefer to do it. Finally, everything was finally baked, and it was just a matter of getting them all out and freezing it. As you can see, the apple muffins are not very structurally sound, but they are delicious. The banana muffins turned out looking both good and I think tasting good, according to my mom. I don't really like banana, so I didn't try these. And yeah, that was my meal prep day. I was really, really tired by the end of it. I think if I do this again, I definitely won't do 3 baking recipes. I think 2 baking, 2 stovetop is a lot more reasonable than trying to bake 3 recipes all on the same day. That was a little bit cray cray, but still got a lot done. I'm happy with it. And despite the tiredness, I had a good time and I feel happy knowing that there's lots of yummy food in the freezer whenever I want. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.